In 1955, a brand new vaccine meant to save children from a crippling disease instead gave it to them directly. The fallout rewrote how every vaccine on Earth gets tested. Here's the real chain. In the early 1950s, polio was one of the most feared diseases in America, paralyzing thousands of children every single year, often permanently. In 1955, Dr. Jonas Salk's new polio vaccine was announced as a breakthrough, built using a killed, inactivated version of the virus that couldn't cause disease. The announcement triggered a massive, historic rollout. Millions of doses were rushed into production almost overnight to vaccinate children across the country. Several pharmaceutical companies were licensed to manufacture the vaccine at scale, including a company called Cutter Laboratories. The vaccine required a precise process: grow the live virus, then completely inactivate it with formaldehyde so it could trigger immunity without causing infection. At Cutter's facility, that inactivation process had flaws that weren't fully understood at the time, and some live, fully infectious virus survived in certain batches. Those contaminated batches passed the safety testing standards of the era and were shipped out and injected directly into thousands of healthy children. Within days, children who had been vaccinated to prevent polio began developing the disease itself, some of them paralyzed within the very week they were injected. The event, later called the Cutter incident, caused roughly 40,000 cases of polio, left over 100 children with lasting paralysis, and killed several. It remains one of the worst pharmaceutical disasters in United States history, and it happened at the exact moment public trust in vaccines was at its highest point. Federal health officials pulled Cutter's vaccine within days, but the damage to families and to public confidence was already done. An investigation found that the era's testing standards for verifying a vaccine batch was truly virus-free were dangerously inconsistent between manufacturers. There was no single, mandatory, independently verified process every company had to follow before a vaccine batch could reach the public. In response, the federal government dramatically tightened its oversight of vaccine manufacturing, creating stricter, standardized safety testing requirements almost immediately. Manufacturers were now required to prove, through consistent and verifiable testing, that every single batch was genuinely free of live virus before it could be released. That regulatory shift became a direct forerunner of the modern vaccine approval pipeline used by health authorities around the world today. Today, every vaccine batch goes through multiple independent layers of testing, verification, and regulatory sign-off before a single dose reaches the public. Modern manufacturing facilities are also subject to strict ongoing inspection requirements that trace their origin directly back to what went wrong at Cutter. The tragedy also led to major advances in understanding how to reliably and completely inactivate a virus, knowledge still used in vaccine production today. Despite the disaster, the broader vaccination campaign continued, and polio cases in the United States collapsed by more than 90% within just a few years. The system that makes modern vaccines some of the most rigorously tested products in medicine exists in large part because of the lessons learned from this one catastrophic mistake. A single manufacturing failure that hurt thousands of children ended up building the safety net that protects every child who gets vaccinated today. Follow Forgotten Record for more Real Chains history.